I had a chance to sit in the new councilman roundtable, and it makes me feel really good about our village and where we're at and where we're going. It was 2 steps short of being a Jerry Springer episode. It's something else. I also want to thank our local law enforcement for having me at Tip-A-Cop at Red Robin. That benefited Special Olympics. We brought in the most in the state at just under $5,500 through the course of one Saturday. So that will help our Special Olympians when they compete at Harlem High School. Also had a chance to attend the WROK 90th anniversary. Yes, 1440 WROK has been on the air for 90 years. And I remember being a kid and waking up to Dan and Doug. I don't know how many folks out there remember the old Dan and Doug days when AM radio was #1 in the morning. Also had a chance to attend Locktoberfest at Lockwood Park. It was great to see a lot of the village's residents out taking advantage of this very cheap and economical event here for autumn. And congratulations to Big Papa's Barbecue here in District 4, 2-year anniversary. They really do keep up the exterior of the building, and the barbecue is out of this world.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson. Is there any more reports? I see none. Next, we have a consent agenda. The next item are there any items in the consent agenda that a trustee would like removed from the consent agenda to be considered separately? I see none. I will entertain a motion to approve all items under the consent agenda.
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussions? Could I have staff report on the agenda items?
Thank you, Your Honor. Item A is Ordinance 46-13, first reading of a variance from the front yard setback from 36 feet to 3 feet and the side yard setback from 6 feet to 4 feet for an accessory building at 10324 Ventura Boulevard. Item B is Ordinance 49-13, amending the village code to create a 5% hotel operator's occupation tax. Once established, the village hotel tax will replace the 5% county tax previously being applied to hotel stays. Item C is Resolution 88-R-13, a resolution in support of the Rockford Park District Reclaiming First initiative. Specifically, it expresses village support for Winnebago County to impose a 2% tax upon hotel rooms to directly encourage, support, market, and construct sports and entertainment facilities for the purpose of promoting tourism, competitiveness, and job growth in the Rockford area. Item D is Resolution 89-R-13, authorizing the village to record and provide constructive notice to those properties affected by the floodway conservation zoning overlay district. E is Resolution 91-R-13, approves the issuance of a Class R liquor license to the establishment known as Molly's Deli, located at 1405 West Lane Road. F is Resolution 93-R-13. It approves an amendment to the development agreement with Practice Velocity Holdings and further clarifies the village's commitment to fund any costs over and above the amount of $297,000 for reconstruction of portions of the Ring Road. Item G, Resolution 95-R-13, approves a conveyance of certain real property from V3 McChesney LLC to the village and approves a release and assumption agreement between the parties whereby the village will assume responsibility for all roads within the Silo Ridge and Timberline subdivisions. Item H is Resolution 98-R-13. It authorizes a grant of easement in favor of Meyer Stores for the purpose of stormwater management on the property recently acquired from ComEd. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Is there any further discussion? I hear no further discussion. Will the clerk please take a roll call, please?
Trustee Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Tamman.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
All items on the consent agenda has been approved. Next, we have new business, ordinance 47-13, authorize the acceptance of credit card payment, first reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. As you know, we are proposing to accept credit cards as payment for various obligations owed to the village. We would be accepting debit cards, Visa, Discover, and MasterCard, which would be through Blackhawk Bank and Merchant eSolutions. We had our public hearing tonight, at which we had no comments from the public. At the A&F committee, there was a split vote, 2-2, mainly due to the fees, which I'll discuss here in a moment. There are limits set by the statute and processors as to the amount that the village can assess on each transaction, and it varies depending on each card type. Right now, we are proposing to assess a 2% convenience fee on each charge that is paid by anything other than debit cards. We will also look at, I guess I'll back up. We're anticipating about $1,300 a year in fees from the transactions. Again, it's unknown at this time because we have no history, but it'll be based on volume and dollar amounts as to where that estimated amount goes. But at the 2% fee, I would be expecting to receive about $1,000. So there'd be about $200 to $300 that would be uncovered by the village at this time. We will and have already started on reviewing all the fees that the village collects for various permitting and licensing and things like that. So we would look at increasing some of those fees slightly to cover the remaining charges that would not be covered by the 2% fee. And then as we get some additional history and start collecting credit card payments and things like that, we can review it in 6 months to a year and see how the fees are coming in and how much we are being covered, and adjust as anything is needed. There's also a positive to not handling cash as much in the village. By accepting just the credit cards, it reduces time needed to go to the bank and reconcile everything and things like that. So if you have any other further comments or questions, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there any trustee discussion? Trustee Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. I personally would like to see a sunset clause attached to this ordinance so that we're assured that annually we look at these fees to ensure that we're not, paying somebody else's debt.
Trustee Tammon.
I just think in our village, well, people in general, we live in a plastic society and people don't carry cash around anymore for safety reasons or whatever their personal choice is. And to me, you're providing great customer satisfaction if you have a second option for them other than paying cash. If someone comes in to pay their fine or their bill and they don't have cash or check, they have to leave and go to the bank, get cash or check, and then come back. And I just think it's a convenience that we should offer to our village, even if there's a slight loss of revenue for us.
Thank you, Trustee Tammon. Trustee Wilson.
I recently walked my district in several locations and spoke to about 27 people, and all of them were in favor of this. At the last A&F meeting, I was against it. I've changed my mind since then by talking to constituents, and I'm now going to be for it.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson. Trustee Kidd.
I agree with Trustee Beck. There should be a sunset clause. That way we ensure that we revisit the issue. And I also walked, and I agree with Aaron Wilson.
Thank you, Trustee Kidd. Is there any more discussion? Tim Savage.
Well, I don't know if it's truly heading in that direction of a sunset clause, but I would add that this ordinance establishes a relatively permanent service that people are going to get used to, and the village is going to get used to administering. So a sunset clause may be a little heavy-handed. What I would suggest as an alternate to that is that we mark our calendars that we are back here a year from today and have a report from finance that outlines where the numbers are coming in at, and then you'd have an opportunity at that time to raise the fees or do away with the program if you don't like it. But this ordinance puts the service in place, which is, semi-permanent.
Thank you, Tim. Is there any more discussion? I see none. We'll take roll call.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Tammon.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
Ordinance 47-13 has passed for first reading. Next, we have Resolution 92-R13, Gill's Diner, Slotto Cash, R&G liquor license. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. This location is at Gill's Diner, which is at 7834 North 2nd Street. It's for an R-class liquor license, which allows full on-premise consumption of alcohol for restaurants, as well as a G license to allow video gaming terminals. The liquor license, and the intention is that the alcoholic beverages from Gill's Diner be sold and a video gaming location be located directly behind Gill's Diner with a separate location entrance, but connected to the diner with a doorway. The video gaming business would be called Slotto Cash and would occupy approximately 1,200 square feet.
Thank you, Carrie. Is there any discussion from trustees? Trustee Wilson.
I think in the near future, we all need to sit down and get a handle on how many of these we're going to be issuing. But that being said, I've thought long and hard about this one, and you're part of this community. I mean, a lot of folks have visited Gill's over countless years, and you've been what makes McChesney Park tick. And I get a little emotional about things like this, I'm sorry. But I did think long and hard about it, and I'll be voting yes tonight, which is a little different from what I've done in the past with this, but it's because you've been here with the village for a very long time, and you've been one of our great business owners.
Is there any more discussion from the trustees? Trustee Snodgrass.
I too might get emotional. I went to Gill's for breakfast on the day that I got married, so it has great memories for me as well. My concern with this is when the application came in, there were a lot of things that kind of changed, and even though it said one thing, they really meant another. And so I just would hope that in the future, as we're going forward, that we make things more clear or have them just take it away and resubmit, because several things changed on this. I will support it because it's Gill's, and they do have a good reputation within the village. But as I said, when people are filling out their applications, they really need to take them seriously, and they really need to fill in all the blanks, and they need to have, expect us to ask questions. I've spoken with a couple of other people who are getting ready to come to us, and I said to them, please talk to us. Don't just assume that we understand what you mean, and that seems to be better. I know Gill's has, like I said, a great reputation, and everyone really enjoys going there. So I will also be supporting this tonight, which is something that I wasn't sure I was going to be doing earlier.
Thank you, Trustee Snodgrass. Is there any more discussion from trustees? I hear none. We'll take roll call.
Trustee Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Tammon.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
Resolution 92-R13 has been adopted. Next, we have public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that wishes to address us for the good of the community, please come forward and state your name and address, please. I see none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? We are adjourned.
That's the only thing on mute.